Texas A&M classrooms may be under the microscope when it comes to what they teach and who they hire if lawmakers have their way. State lawmakers are looking at passing Senate Bill number 37, which seeks to address the view that there's liberal bias in higher education. And if it's passed, it would prohibit professors from teaching students any subject that would align with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. And the bill would also give Board of Regents the power to approve each job for tenured staff in liberal arts, communications, education, and social work. There's a lot to this bill, so we invited Jeremy Rosenthal to join us here today. He's an expert in state law, founding partner with TexasDefenseFirm.com. Jeremy, I just said a lot. Is that the right way to sum up this bill? What do you think the goal is here?
Well, if you were to ask the folks behind it, in the Texas Senate Bill number 37 seeks to, what they would say, have higher oversight over universities and public institutions that are state funded. That would be Texas A&M. That would be the University of Texas, Texas Tech. Any state institution that you can think of in the state of Texas would be subject to this. And it is aimed and targeted at really eliminating DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, the bill doesn't say that, but that's fundamentally where it was initially targeted. The Senate bill, very sweeping, had a lot of provisions whereby the state would have a lot of ways to control this, the curriculum in the classroom, through appointments by the governor, through funding mechanisms to sort of enforce it. The House bill has neutered a lot of these things and has really watered it down. Obviously, it's got to pass both houses and then be signed by the governor before the end of the session. So the House has really thrown a lot of cold water on this bill, which is often the case. But yeah, you characterized it accurately. If it were to go through in the format that the Senate has passed, there could potentially be some sweeping changes in education, and that would be at least the aim of the drafters of the bill.
Ask you this, because I think there's going to be some in our audience who say, wait, I thought we already rolled back the DEI initiatives and programs on campus. A&M was quick to do that when you know that started happening, a year or so ago. So what's the difference between this bill and what's in that bill and what we're already seeing on college campuses?
You've got several things that may be being politically responsive. You've got to remember that in the Texas House and the Texas Senate, you've got candidates that are running for office that want to run on "look what I did," right? So these things, in some instances, could be potentially redundant. And you're looking at folks who, at this time of the session, are sort of trying to push out their very last bills and things like that. Remember, the session is set to end probably the first week of June, which means after that, there's not going to be really any legislation unless there's a special session, which it doesn't sound like there will be, until the year 2027. So you've got a lot of legislatures who are scrambling, and you've got some that are saying, well, look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing. And you see this a lot, and there's a lot of popular legislation, if you will, in criminal justice, for instance, DWI enforcement. Legislatures have found you can't make too many rules about DWI, right? You can always come and add a fourth punishment to a first-time DWI offender and go back to your home district and say, look what I did, I'm tough on crime. So that may be a little bit of what you're seeing, but you also see a good deal of pushback from the educators themselves, from the universities, who are saying we've got to be very careful, and we don't want the people in Austin to teach our classes for us. We are institutions, we are places of higher learning. And you get into that slippery slope of, okay, so we are going to discuss things like race. We are going to discuss things like history that are going to be sort of uncomfortable, and we don't want to have to worry about our job in teaching it in a way that we, the educators, think are honest. So you are balancing a really good deal of things. And to kind of round it out, what I'll tell you is what I'm always looking for are what are the enforcement mechanisms, right? We can pass laws all day, every day, but if all of them are just suggestions and more boards and more bureaucracy, but nobody can ultimately do anything. What are we really accomplishing, if anything? That's a big question that I have with this bill as well.
All right, Jeremy Rosenthal with TexasDefenseFirm.com. Thank you, sir. Good to see you.